Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test test. Test 1 2. Test. 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 That was Evan Mello on PA here inside Balfour Natatorium to kick off tonight's match. The meet tonight includes the WPI Engineers coming into Norton to face off against the Wheaton College Lions. Welcome into the Newmax Sports Network, everybody. I'm Jackson Walsh. WPI coming in here for the first time in a while, and second consecutive year these two teams have swam in a dual meet. Before, it was a bit of time before that last year. The Wheaton women took down WPI handedly on the men's side. It was a pretty close meet. We'll see how it comes out tonight after the Wheaton men are coming off a big win and a historic one against Newmac rivals Babson College. 32 events tonight. We'll kick it off with event 1, the women's 200 medley relay. It'll be Wheaton in lane 1 and 3, WPI in lane 4, and then Wheaton in lanes 5 and 7. So a heavily contested first event here, dominated by Wheaton in lanes 1, 3, 5, and 7. To kick it off for WPI in lane 4, it'll be Leah Kolb, and then Wheaton in lane 5. We'll start off with Reese Hartman. Wheaton College women come in to tonight's meet at 7 and 2, while the WPI women are at 4 and 5. And we're underway here from Balfour Natatorium, kicking off things at 6 o'clock on the dot. Contested lanes 3, 4, and 5. That's Stone in lane 3 for Wheaton. Then yet again Kolb in lane 4 for WPI. Hartman in lane 5 for the Lions. First 50 down, we're on to the second leg swimmers here. For Wheaton in lane 5, it's Meg Dickinson. She has the early lead right now, but still trailing. For WPI in lane 4 is Eleanor Ross. Also now moving into second place in lane 3 for the Lions, Emma Lambert-Shimo. Wheaton with a good chance here early on to go 1 and 2 in the first event of the day. Engineers still holding on, that lane 4 team, the only team for WPI. It'll now be Rachel Sang swimming the third leg for WPI, but the Engineers are falling back. Wheaton growing that lead in lane 5. It's Lily Watson into the pool for the Lions in lane 5. In lane 3, sitting in second place at the moment, is junior Alexa DeCenzo for Wheaton College. And that lead over WPI's team continuing to grow. We'll see if Sang can set up Katrina White in a decent spot to maybe grab second place. It looks like first place might be out of the equation here early on, and that lead just keeps growing and growing here for Wheaton. The anchors in the pool now in lane 5. It's Katie Walls. In lane 3, Amelia Butler. And the Lions are absolutely going to run away with this one. It's going to be down to Butler and Walls, lanes 3 and 5, but it looks like it's going to be Walls to take first place. And the Lions start off on the right track on the women's side. They go 1 and 2 in the women's 200 medley relay. WPI grabs third with their lone team in lane 4, anchored by Katrina Waite. The winning time in lane 5 for the Lions, anchored by Katie Walls, 1:52.3. The second place time in lane 3 for Wheaton, 1:51.01. And the third place time in lane 4 for the Engineers, 1:54.67. So a good indication of maybe what's on tap tonight the rest of the way. On the women's side, that is. On the men's side, we should have a pretty good meet when we come down to the final scores at the end of the night. Both teams come into this meet with 4 and 4 records. So now the men will take their crack at the 200 medley relay. It'll be WPI in lane 2, 4, and 6. Wheaton in lanes 3 and 5. Early lead here for Wheaton in lane 5. That's Andrew Tran kicking things off. WPI's lane 3 team in the mix for first place as well. Safe to say they have second at the moment. That was kicked off by Dean Dubeck. Second leg swimmers into the pool now. For the Lions in lane 5, still with the lead, it's Ben Goho. Still in the mix, though. WPI down here on the near side in lane 2. That's Christopher Smith. Engineers have third and fourth in lanes 4 and 6 as well. In lane 4 for the Engineers, it's Jake Thomas at the moment. And in lane 6 for WPI, Jack Werb. Into the third leg, Wheaton still with a comfortable first place lead here. The third leg for the Lions in lane 5, the sophomore out of Cumming, Georgia, Gavin Cullinan. Having a fantastic career so far here in Norton, and he just keeps getting better and better with each meet. Second place now, controlled comfortably in lane 2 for the Engineers. Third leg swimmer Lucas Prowl will turn it over to the anchor momentarily, Jack Brazier, but Brazier will be trailing Anton Lopez, who just entered the pool in lane 5 for Wheaton College. The fight for third still going on. Engineers have it in lane 4 with the anchor Andrew Van de Water. Wheaton in lane 3 trailing Braxton Fair in the anchor. Wheaton will take first, WPI second, and it looks like WPI will go third too, and they will. The winning time for Wheaton in lane 5, anchored by Anton Lopez, 136.52. So 2 wins on both the men's and women's side, respectively, to open up things here in Balfour Natatorium. Lane 2 time, second place for the Engineers, 139.75. Opening relays finished here with Wheaton grabbing a win on both the men's and women's side. We'll turn it over to the longer event of tonight. It'll be first the women's 1,000, followed by the men's 1,000. We'll take a look at the full field here for the women's 1,000. For WPI in lane 2, it's Caitlin Schwartz. Wheaton in lane 3 has Jordan Jensen. Kylie Herbooster in lane 4 for WPI. Vivian Van Hollen in lane 5 for Wheaton. Then it's Lana Damascolo in lane 6 for WPI. And rounding out the pack in lane 7 for the Lions is Maddie King. Top seed time coming into this event. Only Wheaton having seed times putting on for the meet program, but Vivian Van Hollen does have the top time by a lengthy amount, comes into the seed time of 11:10.45, so expect something around there for Van Hollen, or maybe even Herb Subter in lane 4 for the Engineers. Early lead here for lane 4, WPI. Kylie Herbooster, the sophomore out of Medfield, Massachusetts, not too far from here. And Herb Stuber's just growing that lead right now early on here in this one. Van Hollen still sits in second. She's in lane 5 for the Lions, and momentarily in third for WPI in lane 6 is Lana Damascolo. Diving also underway off to our right. If you're new to these broadcasts, you know, if you're looking for diving, there's a separate stream going on just for the diving well, which is underway with the 1 meter dive. So you can go right back to your Newmax Sports Network homepage where you clicked on the link to follow along with this meet, and then there should be a title right there for a separate stream just with the diving. There will be no audio or commentary on that, just some high quality video, but you can go check that out over on your Newmax Sports Network homepage. Herb Suter still in first place here for WPI. The positions hold with Van Hollen in second and Damascolo for the Engineers in third. Up on the diving board right now, off to the right, is Morgan Coughlin-Doyle, the junior for Wheaton College, who was just named Newmac Women's Diver of the Week, so congratulations to Morgan. Just over 2 minutes in here to the women's 1,000. And the Engineers of WPI hold first and third with Kylie Herbooster and Lana Damascolo. Vivian Van Hollen sandwiched right in the middle of them, place-wise and lane-wise, with Van Hollen swimming in lane 5 for the Wheaton College Lions. 3.5 in. Those positions still hold in each of them. Kind of coming in more comfortably in terms of spacing between the rest of the opponents. You know, you have Herb Stuber growing her lead in lane 4 for first, and now Van Hollen's kind of comfortably in second place, so just about even of how she is behind Herb Studer and then ahead of Damascolo. Damascolo once again in lane 6 for WPI. The engineers in the red suits with the silver caps tonight. Wheaton in the blue suits with the blue caps. Said right before we got going, the Wheaton College women are 7-2 so far in the season. Last meet was this past Saturday. It was a tri-meet where they hosted Babson College and Connecticut College, and it worked out well for the women on both sides that day. A 237-57, a dominant win over Babson. A little bit closer in terms of the meet against Connecticut College. It finished at 165-129. WPI hasn't been at it for a long time on both the men's and women's side. Last time WPI swam competitively was the first week of December, where they faced off in the Wesleyan quad meets. On the women's side, they placed 4th in that meet. And you're going to have to go back all the way to November 18th for the last time that the engineers swam in a dual meet. That was November 18th against MIT. So almost 2 months to the day for the last time WPI swam in a dual meet, and we got a good duel going on in lanes 4 and 5 right now with Kylie Herbstuber and Vivian Van Hollen, because Van Hollen has Herbstuber just about even here as we approach the 6-minute mark in the women's 1,000. Van Hollen at one time was about 2.5 lengths behind Herbstuber, but now Van Hollen has taken the lead over Herbstuber, so it sits with Van Hollen in first, Herbstuber in second, and then Herbstuber's teammate Lana Damascolo still sitting in third in lane 6 for the engineers. And Van Hollen is slowly growing that lead. Just about a minute ago, it was Van Hollen and Herbstuber just about even, but now it's Van Hollen by, I want to say, about a half a length over Kylie Herbstuber. And Van Hollen continues to grow that lead for Wheaton in lane 5. Lions trying to grab the win in each of the first 2 events of the night. First, it was the women's 200 medley relay, where they won with the lane 5 team with Reese Hartman, Meg Dickinson, Lily Watson, and Katie Walls. And now it's Vivian Van Hollen for Wheaton to grab another win, this time in the women's 1,000. And Van Hollen really cruising now in lane 5. Getting into a good tempo at a good time as we're over 8 minutes in, and still growing that lead over Kylie Herbstuber. Now it's at about 3 lengths in front of Herbstuber, with Herbstuber's teammate Lana Damascolo in lane 6. Still sitting in third. Jordan Jensen in lane 3 for Wheaton, also in the mix for third place. She's right there with Lana Damascalo. So Wheaton with an opportunity to go 1-3 here in the 1,000. The sophomore Vivian Van Hollen with a big lead here as we hit the 9-minute mark. A freestyle specialist out of Exeter, Minnesota. Attended Minnetonka High School. So from all that way, from the early stages of her career to the high school career, her college career continues in Norton, Massachusetts, and it's been a good one so far. And this race in particular has been indicative of it. A very successful career so far for Van Hollen, especially in the distance races like this, the 1,000. Still Van Hollen with that big lead on top of Kylie Herbstuber. Pretty good crowd on hand tonight for a 6 o'clock start on a Wednesday in January. Still no students back on campus yet here, but we're on to our last 50. And all the signs point to Vivian Van Hollen taking this win unless Kylie Herbstuber can do something incredible. Van Hollen down to the last 25 here in the women's 1,000. Herbstuber trying to make a move. It just might be too late. Emptying the tank right now in lane 4, but a little too late as it's Vivian Van Hollen in lane 5 grabbing the win in the women's 1,000. The winning time for Van Hollen in lane 5, 11:08.40. Eclipses her seed time by about 2 seconds as Kylie Herbstuber takes second place in lane 4 at 11:11.06. And in third place, the Engineers take it with Lana Damascalo in lane 6 with a time of 11:23.76. So the Engineers grab 2 of the top 3 spots here in the women's 1,000, but it's Wheaton grabbing the most important one, and that's first place, thanks to Vivian Van Hollen. Rest of the swimmers finishing up here in the 1,000, but it was Vivian Van Hollen taking the win in lane 5 for Wheaton College. So that now officially wraps it up for the women's 1,000. Van Hollen, first place for Wheaton College. WPI grabs second and third. That'll now take us to the fourth event of the night. Now time for the men to do their 1,000. Look at the field in lane 2 for WPI. It's Owen Walpole. Lane 4 for WPI, Aiden Greenfield. Lane 5 for Wheaton College, Will Chappelle. Lane 6 for WPI, it's Daniel Corey. In lane 7, it's Alex Minichiello for the Lions. And in lane 8, to round out the field, Jake Thomas out of WPI. Caden Gilbert was originally slated to swim in lane 3 for Wheaton. He was a late scratch. That'll be 4 swimmers for the Engineers here in the men's 1,000 to Wheaton's 2. Big lead early on here for the Engineers, and it's Aiden Greenfield in lane 4, well ahead the rest of the pack. It's like the contender early on for second place is his teammate in lane 6, Corey Daniel. In third place, a little too close to call at the moment. The swimmers in lanes 5 through 8 all kind of together at the moment. Also, Walpole still in that mix as well at the bottom of your screen in lane 2 for WPI. Right now it's still Aiden Greenfield in lane 4 for WPI with a commanding lead here in the men's 1,000. Greenfield, a junior freestyle specialist out of Northport, New York. For the moment, just barely though, it's still Daniel Corey holding on to second place in lane 6, but right there in lane 7 in the mix is Alex Minichiello. You can also say Jake Thomas in the mix as well out in lane 8. Over 3 minutes in, still a dominant performance being put on by Aiden Greenfield for the WPI Engineers in lane 4 right now. He's about 3 lengths ahead of the rest of the pack. Corey still holding on to second in lane 6, and it looks like it's Minichiello and Thomas in lane 7 and 8, just about tied for third place. And now right there with him as well is Will Chappelle in lane 5 for Wheaton College. All Aiden Greenfield at the moment in lane 4 for WPI. Daniel Corey still sitting in second. He's in lane 6, but someone's firmly in third place right now, and it's Will Chappelle in lane 5 for Wheaton College. Chappelle, the sophomore freestyle specialist out of Worcester, Massachusetts, swimming against his hometown school tonight. One of the many hometown schools you have up in Worcester. I mean, you have 2 NUMAC schools up in Worcester, Massachusetts. You got WPI, who's here tonight, and also Clark University calls Worcester home. For other D3 teams, you also have Worcester State up there too. Just over 5.5 in. Those positions still hold true at the moment. It's Greenfield, Corey, and Chappelle. So the Engineers sit 1 and 2 with Chappelle grabbing that third spot for the Lions at the moment. Approaching 7 minutes in, it's still all Aiden Greenfield in lane 4 for the WPI Engineers. Daniel Corey still out there in lane 6 in the silver cap in second place. We'll see if Will Chappelle can try to chase him down. Chappelle in lane 5, right in between Greenfield and Corey. Greenfield still way out there in first place. Stretching that lead more and more as his teammates on the top of your screen where WPI is positioned tonight cheer him on. It's always where the visitors set up shop here inside Balfour Natatorium. You have them on the far side of the pool, and then Wheaton College just below. A very nice set of stands here inside Balfour Natatorium where I'm positioned at the moment. The stands that stretch all the way down to the left and overlook the pool here with more off to the right, right in front of the diving well, right over there on your screen. And this is one of the best setups around, and you can credit that to Wheaton College SID, Alan Wickstrom, one of the hardest working men around, especially at this school. He's done a lot for this athletic department and myself, so you can credit him for all the recaps you see, a lot of the stats you see for various sports, and setting up all this equipment. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world being an SID, so give him all the credit in the world that you can, and always make sure you say thank you if you see him around, because he does a lot for the student athletes here at Wheaton College, and I'm saying that also because I am a student athlete here at Wheaton College, so I know firsthand all the work that goes into his job and the experience he makes for student athletes here at Wheaton. Just under the 10-minute mark here in the men's 1,000. Aiden Greenfield has dominated this one start to finish for the Worcester. Just lost my tongue right there. The Worcester Polytechnic Institute Engineers. There's the bell, and that means Greenfield's on to his last 50. So it looks like this is going to be WPI's first win of the night, and it's going to be courtesy of Aiden Greenfield in lane 4. And Greenfield even picking up the tempo. Maybe he's trying to break a personal time here. He's really kicking in lane 4, and he's going to cruise his way to a victory for the time of 10:37.83. The race for second and third are on. Daniel Corey in lane 6. Looks like he's going to grab second. We'll see what third place ends up being here. It will be Corey second place, and WPI is going to sweep it across the board. First, second, and third for the Engineers. And it's Jake Thomas grabbing third place in lane 8 for WPI. The winning time in lane 4 for Greenfield, 10:37.83. Then Corey had 10:51.84, second place, lane 6, and third place, Jake Thomas, lane 8, 10:52.32. So the longer events now done for a bit. We'll have the 500 towards the end of the night. We're now on to the women's 200 free. A look at the field for Wheaton in lane 1, Allison Kramer. Anna Callahan in lane 2 for WPI. Anna St. Jean in lane 3 for Wheaton. Katrina Waite in lane 4 for WPI. Kat Foster in lane 5 for Wheaton. And it's KC McLeod in lane 6 for WPI. And Mia Bensavega in lane 7, rounding out the field for Wheaton College. Not only is the women's 200 free getting underway, looks like in the diving well it will be the 3-meter dive getting going. So go back to your Newmax Sports Network homepage and click on the separate link for diving. If you're here looking for diving, there will be a separate feed just for the diving well. The women are off here in the 200 free. Pretty even through the first 25. Nobody breaking away from the pack yet. Pretty bunched up between lanes 2 and 7. That's just about the entire field. Right now, a little position getting broken away, and it's lane 7, Mia Bensavega. Oh, excuse me, that's actually lane 6, which is as far as they go. It looks like Bensavega was a scratch before this one, so they only go out to lane 6, and it's KC McLeod for WPI with the early lead. Kat Foster sits in second place for Wheaton College in lane 5 at the moment. But not far behind Foster are Waite for WPI and St. Jean for Wheaton in lanes 4 and 3. It's still McLeod first place, lane 6. So it looks like Wheaton has second and third with Foster and St. Jean right now. It's going to be pretty tight, and actually Wheaton's going to have a chance to win this down the stretch. Foster making up some ground, and St. Jean making up some ground as well. We'll see if McLeod can hold them off here. This race is real tight right now as they make their final turn for the last 50. Foster and St. Jean trying to break away from McLeod. They have first and second, but just narrowly at the moment. McLeod trailing them in lane 6. We'll see who it is. This is a very tight 200 free here as they come down the stretch, and it looks like it's Foster breaking away in lane 5, and that's how this one's going to finish. Kat Foster in lane 5 with a winning time of 2:04.15 to take it in the women's 200 free for Wheaton College. And good news for the Lions, they grab second place as well. Anna St. Jean in lane 3 with a time of 2:05.39, and Casey McLeod for the Engineers in lane 6 led for most of this race, but she ends up falling to third with a time of 2:05.49, so everybody just about within a second in a tightly contested women's 200 free, but it's Kat Foster taking the win out in lane 5, the senior from Weston, Connecticut. That's now going to take us to the men's 200 free. A look at the field. For WPI in lane 2, Nikita Zuev. For Wheaton, lane 3, Brian Hickson. Nolan Schlesman in lane 4 for WPI. Then it's Gavin Cullen in lane 5 for Wheaton. For the Engineers in lane 6 and 8, Matt Crane and Jack Duria. And then it's Aiden Carberry in lane 7 for Wheaton College. The Wheaton men looking for a win here after getting swept first through third across the board in the 1,000. In the lead through the first 50 here for the men's 200 free in lane 8, Jack Durea for WPI. Durea, the junior out of Sag Harbor, New York. Out in the Hamptons of Long Island. And Durea still in the lead here through the first 100. That lead doesn't look like it might last for long. The rest of the field's really creeping up. This is a tightly congested pack, I should say, here for the men's 200. And now Duria's falling back in lane 8, but now moving into the mix in lane 2 for WPI is Zuev. Nikita Zuev, the sophomore out of Wallingford, Connecticut, sits solely in first place at the moment, and there is no clear second place. Wheaton has a chance to grab maybe second and third right now, depending on the finish from Hickson and Cullen, and they're in lanes 3 and 5. Comes to the wall, and it finishes with Wheaton going second and third behind Nikita Zuev. The winning time for Zuev in lane 2, 1:47.70. Then second place was taken by Brian Hickson in lane 3, and then Gavin Cullinan took third in lane 5. So a good bounce back for Wheaton to grab 2 out of the top 3 spots here in the men's 200 free after getting swept across the board in the 1,000. Now on to the 50-yard backstroke. First for the woman. Isabella Chesley in lane 1 for Wheaton. For WPI in lane 2, Natalie Carrington. Tally Dalton's in lane 3 for Wheaton. Then it's Leah Cole in lane 4 for WPI. Amelia Butler's in lane 5 for Wheaton. Audrey Dino in lane 6 for WPI. And Allie Taylor will be swimming in lane 7 for Wheaton College. Early lead for the first 25 here is owned by Leah Cole of WPI in lane 4. Amelia Butler right there in lane 5 as well, holding on to third. In lane 6 is Audrey Dino as they come down the stretch. It looks like it is going to be Cole taking the win in lane 4. That's how it'll finish, a touch at the end. And Butler grabs second place in lane 5 to avoid the Engineers going 1 and 2. So first, second, and third go to lanes 4, 5, and 6. Leah Cole, Amelia Butler, Audrey Dino. The winning time for Cole in lane 4, 28.62. Butler at 28.83. And then Dino at 28.94. Now to the men's 50 back. Jacob Antonovich in lane 2 for WPI. Andrew Gus, lane 3 for Wheaton. Dean Dubeck, lane 4 for WPI. Andrew Tran in lane 5 for Wheaton. Then it's Andrew Vanderwater in lane 6 for the Engineers, and in lane 8 for WPI. Rounding out the pack is Griffin Bowers. Men are underway here in event 8, the 50-yard backstroke. An early lead for Wheaton in lane 5, that's Andrew Tran. Tran, the sophomore out of Milton, with a lead coming down the stretch, and it looks like he's going to hold on to it and grab a win here in the 50-yard back. The winning time for Tran in lane 5, 24.79 as he eclipsed 25 seconds. The only one to do so in the field. His second place is taken in lane 4 by Dean Dubeck with a time of 25.60. And in third place, lane 6 goes to Andrew Vandewater at 26.24 for the WPI Engineers. Now on to the women's 50 breast. Kelsey Callahan in lane 1 for Wheaton College. Then it's Kylie Herbstuber in lane 2 for WPI. Alexa DeCenzo for Wheaton in lane 3. Eleanor Ross, lane 4 for WPI. Emma Lambert-Shimo in lane 5 for Wheaton. Then for WPI, Becky Young, lane 6. And rounding out the pack, Karis Mann in lane 7 for Wheaton. They're the lead here for Wheaton is held by Emma Lambert-Shimo. For the Lions in lane 5, right there, though, her teammate in lane 3, Alexa DeCenzo. We'll see how it wraps up here as they come down the stretch. And it is going to be Emma Lambert-Shimo with a win in lane 5 for Wheaton College. Back-to-back wins in this event for Lambert-Shimo. Took it in the tri-meet Saturday against Conn College and Babson. This time, the winning time at 31.68 for the sophomore out of Cleveland, Ohio. Second place goes to DeCenzo in lane 3. And third place goes to Ross in lane 4 for the Engineers. Now on to the men's 50 breast. Jack Werb in lane 1 for WPI. Kyle Chang in lane 2 for WPI. It's Kevin Rice in lane 3 for Wheaton. Then Ryan Nig in lane 4 for WPI. Ben Goho, lane 5 for Wheaton College. And then the rest of the field, lanes 6 through 8, all WPI. Chris Smith, Brian Hall, Eli Buttle. Men waiting to take their mark here in the 50-yard breaststroke. Top seed time coming in is Wheaton's Ben Goho at 26.65. Men are underway here in the 50 breast. Ben Goho with the early advantage in lane 5. The senior out of Lincoln, Rhode Island, has been phenomenal in his career here in Norton and looking to add another win here, this time in the 50 breast. And that's a big win for Goho in lane 5 to make up some points here for Wheaton. The winning time for Goho in lane 5, 27-26 for the senior from Lincoln. And then lane 6 grabs second place. That's Chris Smith with a time of 28.76. We have updated scores here. We'll take a look on the men's side. It's WPI dominating 35-14. And on the women's side, Wheaton well in front of the Engineers at 48-20. Now on to the women's 100 fly. There's 2 heats of this. Heat 1, Anna Curry in lane 1, Anna Callahan lane 2, Garen Stone lane 3, Caitlin Grove lane 4, Katie Walls lane 5, Rachel Sang lane 6, and Meg Dickinson lane 7. Once again, this is the women's 100 fly. Katie Walls with an early lead here in lane 5. A junior out of Bellevue, Washington, has been to the national championships twice and also has been named an All-American twice because of those trips to the nationals. And it's all Walls and all Wheaton right now. They hold first and second with Walls in lane 5 and Garen Stone in lane 3. They have a chance to go 1 through 3 with Dickinson in lane 7. We'll see if they do it. And they do. The Wheaton women sweep it here in the 100 fly. Heat 1. Lions go first, second, and third. Katie Walls in lane 5. Garen Stone lane 3. And then Meg Dickinson in lane 7. The winning time for Walls, the only one to eclipse a minute. 59.35 for Katie. That'll now take us to Heat 2 here for the women's 100 fly. All Wheaton College swimmers in this heat. Grace Chin in lane 4. Alexa Larry, lane 5. And Sarah Curry in lane 6 here for Heat 2 of the 100 fly. Early lead here in Heat 2 is owned by Grace Chin in lane 4. Then it's Leary lane 5, Curry lane 6. Chin still stretching out that lead for the Lions in lane 4 over her 2 other teammates. Chin, the first year out of Blooming Grove, New York, attended Washingtonville High School, and now a rookie here at Wheaton College. And she's going to grab the win here of Heat 2 of the women's 100 fly. Grace Chin with a time of 106.26, and then it's Leary lane 5, Curry lane 6 to round out the field. And now takes us to the men's 100 fly. Look at the field for WPI in lane 1, Matthew Segu. In lane 3 for Wheaton, Colton LeBrecq, Lucas Prail, lane 4 for WPI. Braxton Farron, lane 5 for Wheaton College. And then WPI is Jack Brazier, lane 6, and Nikita Zuev in lane 8. Early lead here held by Jack Brazier in lane 6 for WPI. Brazier, the senior out of Bolton, Massachusetts, swam at Northfield Mount Herman. And he holds on to first place in lane 6 right now as they make the turn for the final 25. And it looks like Lucas Prail might have Brazier in a tight one, and also in the mix is Braxton Farron in lane 5. We'll see how they finish last touch. And it's going to be Brazier in lane 6. 54.06 taking the win, and then his teammate down in lane 4, Lucas Prail, at 54.22 with Farron behind them in lane 5. Third place at 55.16. Now on to the women's 50 free here. In lane 1 for Wheaton College, Ann Sweeney. In lane 2 for WPI, Casey McClellan. Reese Hartman swims in lane 3 for the Lions. Then Leah Kolb for WPI in lane 4. Lily Watson, another All-American, just like Hartman and Walls, in lane 5 for Wheaton. Katrina Waite in lane 6 for WPI. And rounding out the pack is the first year, Kaylee Morton in lane 7. A quick one here as it's just a 50. Right now, with the advantage, is Lily Watson in lane 5 for the Lions, and it looks like she's going to hold on to it. Hartman in the mix in lane 3. Kolb also in the mix in lane 4 for WPI. Watson 24-7-0 in the win, and second place is grabbed by Leah Kolb in lane 4 at 25-7-8. Hartman goes in third in lane 3 at 25-9-7. So the Lions go 1-3 with Watson and Hartman, two of their powerhouses. And then Kolb finishes right in the middle of them in lane 4 in second place. Now on to the men's 50 free. In lane 1 for Wheaton College, Will Chappelle. Matt Crane in lane 2 for WPI. Then it's Brian Hickson in lane 3 for Wheaton. Dean Dubeck, lane 4 for WPI. The speedy Anton Lopez swims in lane 5 for Wheaton. Sean Tesoro, lane 6 for WPI. Luis Benetti's in lane 7. And Gavin McCullough is in lane 8 for the Engineers. Lopez trying to grab another win. He's a freestyle specialist. Down the stretch. And he's going to take it in lane 5 at 21-4-0. The speedy Lopez grabs it. Another first place finish for the Wheaton College men. Second place was grabbed by Hickson in lane 3. So the Lions go 1-2 with Dubeck taking third place in lane 4. So it's now time for the Ian Green race. He's the only swimmer here in Heat 2 for the men's 50 free. So Heat 2 here just featuring Ian Green here for WPI, as getting a lot of cheers from both Wheaton and WPI here. Safe to say he's going to grab the win here in Heat 2 of the men's 50 free. We'll see what time he finishes at. Green finishes at 23:59 here. And that wraps up event 14 and takes us to our first break of the night. When we come back, event 17, the women's 100 free. You're watching WPI and Wheaton, men's and women's swim and dive here on the Newmax Sports Network. I'm Jackson Walsh. We'll be right back. Back here in Balfour Natatorium after we just took our first break of the night. And with that, we have updated scores. On the men's side, WPI leads Wheaton 85-59. And on the women's side, Wheaton running away with it 98-46. On to event 17 of the night, the women's 100 freestyle. Kaylee Morton in lane 1 for Wheaton. Lana Damascalo in lane 2 for WPI. Amelia Butler in lane 3 for the Lions. Casey McLeod, lane 4, WPI. Katie Walls in lane 5 for Wheaton. Then it's Leah Kolb in lane 6 for WPI. And Garen Stone in lane 7 for the Wheaton College Lions. So a pretty stacked field here for Wheaton College between the likes of Morton, Butler, Walls, and Stone. Maybe a good chance to go with a little sweep action here. We'll see how this one wraps up. They're just about through their first 50, and as expected, it's Katie Walls in lane 5 in the lead for Wheaton College. That 50 split was at 25-7-5. In second place right now for the Lions in lane 3, Amelia Butler. Butler, the talented senior out of New York City, and she's giving Walls a run for her money right now in lane 3. It will definitely be Wheaton 1 and 2, just a matter of if it's Butler or Walls, and it's going to end up being Walls as Katie Walls grabs first, Butler second place, lane 3. And it is a sweep for the Lions, as I predicted earlier. Garen Stone grabs third in lane 7. The winning time for Walls in lane 5, 53-7-4. Then Butler at 54-5-5 with Stone behind them, just about a second behind. And third place in lane 7 for the sophomore out of Barrington, Rhode Island. Now on to the men's 1,000. Sean Tesoro, lane 2. Luis Bonetti, lane 3. Nolan Schlesman, lane 4. Brian Hickson, lane 5. Matt Crane, lane 6. And Jack Brazier swimming in lane 8 for WPI. First 50 here, the Engineers have the advantage with Nolan Schlesman in lane 4, just barely out in front of the rest of the field. Schlesman, a rookie out of Sudbury, Massachusetts, but not far behind him is Brian Hickson in lane 5. And then right behind Hickson in lane 6, it's Matt Crane. And that's how this one's going to finish up. Third place is actually going to be taken in lane 2 by Sean Tesoro. So WPI still takes third place, but just not who I expected. Was kind of covered by the railing there from the vantage point of seeing Tesoro. The winning time in lane 4 for Schlesman, 48-16, with Hickson not far behind him in lane 5. Second heat here for the men. And it's going to be an all WPI heat. Ian Green, lane 2. Jack Dorea, lane 4. Gavin McCullough in lane 6. Coming into this event, the WPI men had a pretty comfortable lead over Wheaton College. And that is going to continue to grow after they grabbed first and third in Heat 1 here for the men's 100. This is a very tightly packed second heat here. We'll see who comes away with it all for the Engineers once again, the three swimmers, and it's going to be lane 4 at 50.41. For the WPI Engineers, Jack Dorea. Second place, McCullough, lane 6. Third place, Green, lane 2. Now take us to event 19, the women's 100 back. Isabella Chesley, lane 1. Caitlin Schwartz, lane 2. Allie Taylor, lane 3. Audrey Dinio, lane 4. Reese Hartman, lane 5. Rachel Sang, lane 6. Tally Dalton's in lane 7, and Natalie Carrington is in lane 8. See what Reese Hartman can do here in lane 5 for Wheaton. This is her specialty. This is her first time swimming in the backstroke tonight. Right there with Hartman, though, having a pretty good fight is Rachel Sang in lane 6. Hartman with a slight lead through the first 50 at 29.09. Sang at 29.49 through her first 50. Sang and Hartman duking it out, lane 6 and 5 for a win for the Engineers or the Lions. Hartman just barely holding on right now by about a half length, and it looks like that's how it's going to finish. Reese Hartman with another win this season and her career in the backstroke. Just barely over a minute at a minute flat and then 31/10 of a second. Right behind her was Sang in lane 6 at 1:01.38 in third place. Goes to lane 4 with Audrey Dino, 1:03.59. Now to the men's 100 back. Griffin Bowers, lane 2. Anton Lopez, lane 3. And it's Chris Smith, lane 4. Gavin Cullen in lane 5. Jacob Antovich, lane 6. Lucas Prail, lane 7. And Andrew Vandewater is in lane 8. Men are underway here in event 20, the 100-yard backstroke. Right now it's Chris Smith on lane 4 and Gavin Cullen in lane 5, just about tied for first place as they're about to wrap up their first 50. We'll see what the splits are. At 26.11 in lane 5, it's Gavin Cullen with a slight lead over Smith, who's at 26.25. Smith still right there with Cullen though as they make their last turn. Safe to say Anton Lopez in lane 3 is going to grab a top 3 position, but Chris Smith is trying to take first place here, making a break in lane 4, and he takes it. Oh, look at that finish. Smith comes from behind and gets it at 53.83, and Cullen's time, 53.84. It does not get any closer than that, literally. And then it was Lopez in lane 3, third place at 54.16. What a come from behind narrow victory there for Chris Smith by just a hair. 53.83 to 53.84, my goodness. That was an exciting one that will now bring us to the women's 100-yard breaststroke. Kelsey Callahan, lane 1. Becky Young, lane 2. Alexa DeCenzo is in lane 3. Eleanor Ross, lane 4. Meg Dickinson in lane 5. Lana Damascalo, lane 6. And then rounding out the field in lane 7 is Kat Foster. Early lead here for Dickinson in lane 5, the North Kingstown, Rhode Island native. He's had a fabulous, almost full 4 years now for this Wheaton College Lions squad. Dickinson really airing out that lead in lane 5. Her teammate in lane 3, not far behind her though. Alexa DeCenzo sits in second. Then third place is a coin flip right now between lane 1 with Kelsey Callahan and then lane 6 and 7 with Damascalo and Foster. So it's going to be Wheaton 1 and 2 with Dickinson grabbing the win in lane 5. DeCenzo second place. Lane 3, and then third is going to go to Damascalo of WPI in lane 6 with the winning time for Dickinson, 1:08.29 for the senior in lane 5. That's now going to take us to the men's 100 breast. Jake Worth, lane 1. Eli Budd, lane 2. Andrew Tran is in lane 3. Matthew Seaguy in lane 4. Ben Goho, lane 5. Jake Thomas, lane 6. Ryan Nidge, lane 7. And Kyle Chang is in lane 8. Big time lead in lane 5 for the talented senior Ben Goho. Goho has been nothing but tremendous this season and most of his career for Wheaton College. Still sits comfortably in lane 5 in the lead, but making this a race is his teammate in lane 3, Andrew Tran, who just sits a little bit behind Goho. But Goho's going to hang on and grab his second win of the night at 59.66, the only swimmer to go sub 1 minute. And then it was Tran at 1 minute, 55 tenths of a second in lane 3. Third place, all the way down in lane 8, taken by Kyle Chang at 1:05.24. That's going to wrap up the series of 50s and 100s for the moment. I'll now take it back to the distance events. We'll kick it off for the women's 500 free. Anna Callahan in lane 2 for WPI. Jordan Jensen in lane 3 for Wheaton. And it's Kylie Herbstuber in lane 4 for WPI. Followed by Lily Watson in lane 5 for Wheaton College. Caitlin Schwartz in lane 6 for the Engineers. And Maddie King in lane 7 for WPI. Early advantage, it's the senior All-American Lily Watson right now for Wheaton. She's in lane 5. In the blue cap ahead of the silver cap of WPI led by Kylie Herbstuber, who swam earlier for the Engineers in the 1,000. Watson, the senior fly and free specialist out of Waterford, Connecticut. He's been an integral part of this Wheaton team and their success these last 3 seasons. Been to nationals, a part of teams that were ranked in the nation's top 25, and a part of this year's team, which has been pretty dominant with just those 2 dual meet losses. Watson commanding this race right now here in the women's 500 as we're approaching the 2.5 minute mark, well ahead of the rest of the pack, and including Kylie Herbstuber, who's the closest swimmer to her in lane 4 for WPI, and the lead for Watson is going to be about the half of the pool length when Herbstuber makes this turn. Maybe a little over a half a pool length, but safe to say it is at least a half a pool length right now for Lily Watson. This follows Herbstuber in lane 4 in second and third place. Also representing WPI in lane 6, Caitlin Schwartz. Excuse me, that's Caitlin Swartz, not Schwartz. Throw in an extra C and H there. Swartz sitting in third, the senior out of Pepperell, Massachusetts, attended North Middlesex Regional High School. All Lily Watson right now here in the women's 500 free. As she makes another turn and twirls herself in the pool the way Mary Poppins would twirl an umbrella. Doing it with ease right now for Watson. Four and a half in, Watson now beginning to lap parts of this field. There's the bell, and Watson's got just 50 yards left to go. She hits the 4:45 mark. Her seed time coming into this one was at 5:06.63. We'll see how she matches up with that. 10 seconds left to go until she hits that 5:06 mark. Looks like she is going to be just a bit behind that mark, but who cares? Watson has herself another win, this time in the 500 free, and commandingly doing so at 5:14.53. We'll see what the next closest time is. It's going to be a good chunk of the way behind that. We'll see what Kylie Herbstuber gets here for a time at 5:36.18. So a 22-second difference, and that really shows off just how dominant of a swimmer Lily Watson is. Owns a couple of school records in multiple events, and you can see why with that performance she just put on here in the 500 free. Still waiting for somebody to grab third place, and it will be a representative of WPI, Caitlin Swartz, in lane 6. She eclipses 6 minutes. But it was the Lily Watson show here in the women's 500 free, event 23 of the night. The winning time for the senior out of Waterford, Connecticut, in lane 5, 5:14.53. That wraps up the women's 500 free. That now takes us to the men's 500 free. For Wheaton in lane 1, Alex Minicchiello. Daniel Corey in lane 2 for WPI. Will Chappelle in lane 3 for Wheaton. And it's Aiden Greenfield, lane 4 for WPI. The first year, Kevin Rice in lane 5 for the Lions. Nikita Zuev has been busy tonight. He's in lane 6 for the Engineers. And Aiden Carberry in lane 7 for Wheaton. And Owen Walpole in lane 8 for WPI. Two early contenders right now is Greenfield in lane 4 for WPI, and then Kevin Rice in lane 5 for Wheaton. It's Greenfield with a slight lead, though, as we're just under a minute in, and about a quarter of a length ahead of Rice. Greenfield already has himself a win tonight. Rice going to try his best to not make that 2 wins for Greenfield. Kevin Rice, the first year out of Vienna, Virginia. Swam at James Madison High School. Now Rice with that long reach has the slight advantage for first place as he makes another turn right in front of me. Still him in Greenfield, the 2 swimmers sitting first and second, but hanging out with him in that same pool, same pack in the pool, I should say. Nikita Zuev in lane 6 for WPI in the silver cap just above Kevin Rice. Still Kevin Rice right now for Wheaton College. Battling it out with 2 swimmers from WPI to his left and right. And if you're looking at this on the screen, which you have to be, or you could be listening in your car maybe, you'll have Greenfield right below Rice, and then on top of Rice is Zuev. Rice at about a half-length lead now as we're just over 3 minutes in here to the men's 500. Rice kind of airing it out now a little bit, almost to about a full-length lead over Greenfield in lane 4, and even more of a lead over Zuev, who sits in third in lane 6. Four and a half in. Still Rice. Now that lead shrinking a little bit over Aiden Greenfield of WPI. Just down to about a half length now. Was a full length, but these two still a good way ahead of the rest of the field. So it'd be a big win here for Rice and the Wheaton men, trying to make up some points against this talented WPI men's squad. Here's the bell, and Rice has 50 to go. I think that bell might have came late, actually. Yeah, the official threw his hands up like he was confused. He fooled me, too, but the men in the pool weren't fooled at all. Wow, so it was Kevin Rice coming away with a pretty big win here. First place, lane 5. That just completely threw me off. The official with the bell who rings it when the distance races have 50 yards to go, rang it 50 yards too late, but the swimmers were on the right track thanks to their spotters who sit on the block here. I could show you that on the camera right there. The teammates are positioned showing the swimmer under the water how many laps they have left, but they were doing a great job. The official was just off the mark there, but good thing that it wasn't the other way around. Kevin Rice grabs the win for Wheaton in lane 5. Now back to the shorter events here, the women's 50 fly. Allison Kramer, lane 1. Katrina Waite, lane 2. Anna St. Jean, lane 3. Rachel Sang, lane 4. Anna Curry, lane 5. Caitlin Grove, lane 6. And Ann Sweeney is in lane 7. This is heat 1 of 2 of the women's 50 fly. After this, we'll have the men's 50 fly, and then our second and final break of the night. And this is a tightly contested race to the end, and it's going to be taken by WPI. So a big win for the WPI woman to try to make up some points, and they can thank Rachel Sang for that one. 27-8-3, the win for Sang in lane 4. Second place, lane 5, Anna Curry for Wheaton College. So now heat 2 of the women's 50 fly. Just 2 swimmers here, both from Wheaton College. It'll be Sarah Curry in lane 3 and Alexa Leary in lane 4. Sarah Curry, the younger sister of Wheaton's Anna Curry, who just grabbed second place in the women's 50 fly. Both natives of the beautiful city of New Bedford, Massachusetts. Just about 40 minutes down the road here from Norton. So it's Leary and Curry here duking it out in the women's 50 fly. And it's going to be the senior Alexa Leary coming away with a win here in heat 2 over Sarah Curry with a time of 32.68. Curry at 35.36. Now to event 26, the men's 50 fly. Gavin McCullough, lane 1. Jack Brazier, lane 2. Colton Lebrecht, lane 3. Dean Dubeck, lane 4. Braxton Ferrens in lane 5. Andrew Vandewaters in lane 6. Caden Gilbert in lane 7. And Sean Tesoro swims in lane 8. Men enter the pool here in the 50 fly. With the advantage right now, Dean Dubeck in lane 4 for the WPI Engineers. We'll see if he can hold on. Really close race here coming to the end, and you're going to have to check the clock here to see who it is. Not going to be able to tell by the naked eye, and it's going to be lane 8. My goodness. Sean Tesoro out of nowhere at 24.47 grabs first place. Second place is going to go to Dubeck in lane 4 at 24.51, and then third place, lane 2, Colton Lebrecht. So the Engineers go 1 and 2. WPI unable to get the sweep because of Colton Lebrecht grabbing third place in lane 2 for the Lions. So that wraps it up with event 26. The men's 50 fly. Will take our final break of the night when we come back. Event 29, the women's 2 IM. You're watching Wheaton and WPI, men's and women's swimming and diving here in the Newmax Sports Network. I'm Jackson Walsh. Thanks for hanging out with us. Back here from Balfour Natatorium. Just finished our first break. Now we're into the women's 2IM to start the last slate of events for today. It's Ann Sweeney in lane 1. Natalie Carrington, lane 2. Karis Mann, lane 3. Audrey Dino's in lane 4. Emma Lambert-Shimo's in lane 5. Eleanor Ross, lane 6. And Grace Chin is in lane 7. And right now, it's the Ohio native Lambert-Shimo with the lead in lane 5. Lambert-Shimo will make the turn and go from fly to backstroke here as just a little less than a minute into the women's 2IM, and Lambert-Shimo has been having herself a fantastic week and can cap it here with a win in the 2IM. Trailing Lambert-Shimo in lane 4 is Dino for WPI in lane 4, and then in lane 3 for Wheaton College, it's Karis Mann. So the two sophomores in control for the Lions right now here in the 2IM. Just one heat of this. The men will have 2 heats coming up next before the final relays to end the day. Lambert-Shimo now onto the breaststroke. With about a 2.5 length lead over the rest of the field, it's now Karis Mann officially moving in to second place in lane 3, with Dino falling back to third place in lane 4. Lambert-Shimo now on to the last 50 of the freestyle, and she's running away with this thing in lane 5. The Cleveland native's been having a dominant week so far, and it's going to continue here in the 2IM. Final touch, and that'll do it. Emma Lambert-Shimo with the win in lane 5. 2:17.33 here to take it in the women's 2IM. Second place, lane 4. Audrey Dino at 2:22.41, and then third place ends up being Karis Mann at 2:23.07. But it was Emma Lambert-Shimo in lane 5 grabbing the win for Wheaton College. It's the final women's event before the 400 free relay coming up after the 2 heats here of the men's 2IM. Matthew Seaguy in lane 2 for WPI. Braxton Farron in lane 3 for Wheaton. WPI has Chris Smith in lane 4. Andrew Trans in lane 5 for Wheaton. Jacob Antonovich in lane 6 for WPI. Andrew Gust lane 6 for the Lions. And it's Brian Hall in lane 8 for WPI. Engineers have the advantage here in the first stretch of the 2IM. It's Chris Smith with a lead in lane 4. Smith with about a half-length lead. It looks like second place is owned in lane 8 right now with Brian Hall, but also right there in the mix in lane 5 is Andrew Tran for Wheaton College. Those positions still hold. Chris Smith in lane 4 in the lead here in the breaststroke portion. Going to turn it over to the freestyle shortly, but Andrew Tran giving him a run for his money right next to him in lane 5. Tran really making up some ground here as we're on to the freestyle portion. We'll see what Tran can do. Tran trying to pull Smith just about even. It's going to be these two for first place. The rest of the field will be swimming for third. Tran down the stretch, trying to hold on. Smith trying to pull away, and it looks like Smith is slowly doing so. And that's how it's going to finish. Christopher Smith holds on for the win here of Heat 1 of the men's 2IM, with Andrew Tran right behind him in second in lane 5. And then the Engineers grab third as well. Brian Hall in lane 8. The winning time for Smith, 1:58.35, with Tran at a 1:59.81. Now Heat 2, a full heat for WPI here. Kyle Chang in lane 2, Eli Budd in lane 4, Jake Thomas lane 6, and Jack Werb is in lane 8. Once again, Heat 2 here for the men's 2IM. All 4 swimmers from WPI, as the women taking their positions on the deck, as we're going to have the 400 free relay coming up, and it's going to be pretty much all Wheaton, just the one exception. WPI will be in lane 6 in that race. But right now, Heat 2 of the men's 2IM being led currently in lane 2 by Kyle Chang. Still Chang here on the third portion of the race, the breaststroke portion. He's leading his fellow teammates of Budd and Thomas in lanes 4 and 6, and then trailing them is Werb in lane 8. Down the stretch, and it's going to be Kyle Chang taking the win here in the Heat 2 of the men's 200 IM. Featuring all of his teammates. Second place, Jake Thomas in lane 6, and Eli Budd grabs third in lane 4. The winning time in lane 2, 2:05.93 for Kyle Chang. Now takes us on to the final women's event of the night, the women's 400 free relay. The most exciting event in swimming is these final relays in Balfour Natatorium. I'm not sure if anybody could even make an argument for a more exciting atmosphere and event, especially on a Wednesday night with no students in town. Wheaton in lanes 1, 3, 5, and 7. WPI in lanes 4 and 6. I misspoke earlier, said WPI just had one team. They will have 2 teams here in lanes 4 and 6. Amelia Butler kicking it off for the Lions in lane 5. She's swimming the first leg and has the lead right now. And right behind her in lane 3, swimming the first leg, her teammate Alexa DeCenzo. In lane 4, it's Lana Damascalo for WPI, sitting in third. 100 yards each for all 4 swimmers here, and it's still Butler through the first 50 in the lead in lane 5. Those places still holding with DeCenzo in second in lane 3, but fighting back a little bit is Damascalo in lane 4. She still sits in third, but Butler will turn it over here to the second leg of Garen Stone in lane 5, and Stone will have herself an early lead to start off here. Second leg, lane 3. Meg Dickinson, and then for the Engineers, trying to put up a fight here in lane 4 is Caitlin Grove. Garen Stone growing that lead for Wheaton College in lane 5. Pretty tightly contested race here for second between the Engineers in lane 4 and the Lions in lane 3 with Dickinson and Grove. 50 to go here for the second leg swimmers. It's Stone leading the pack out in lane 5. Stone will make one last turn to her team, and awaiting her is Katie Walls. Wheaton stretching out second place a little more too as I speak. It's Meg Dickinson. She'll turn it over to Kaylee Morton in lane 3. For WPI in lane 4, it'll be Casey McClellan taking over the reins from Caitlin Grove. It's a runaway right now in lane 5 though, and Katie Walls might just make this more dominant than it was before. And it doesn't get any better for opponents because the anchor swimmer in lane 5 is Lily Watson. Wheaton still holding first and second comfortably. Lane 5 at the moment, it's Walls. Lane 3, Kaylee Morton, and sitting in third. In lane 4 for WPI is Casey McLeod. Watson getting ready to go to take this thing home for the Lions and grab a big victory over the WPI Engineers. Walls to the wall. Watson in the pool. She's got 100 to go. And in lane 3 for the Lions, Reese Hartman will anchor after Kaylee Morton swims an excellent third leg for Wheaton College to maybe solidify them first and second place. And the anchor for WPI in lane 4 is Anna Callahan. Callahan has a lot of work to do if she wants to even get second place here. It is going to be a runaway for first, though, as expected in the Wheaton College team in lane 5. Lily Watson makes the turn in the last 25 to go. The Lions in lane 5 run away with it, anchored by the senior All-American, Lily Watson. The winning time in lane 5, 3:38.01. Second place, Lions as well. They're in lane 3. Reese Hartman brings them home with a time of 3:47.51. And third place, lane 4, WPI, anchored by Anna Callahan at 3:54.23. And the Lions also grab fourth, the team in lane 7, Allie Taylor, Vivian Van Hollen, Tally Dalton, and Kat Foster. That now brings us to the end. The men's 400 free relay. An exciting event regardless of score and opponent. Here's the field. Wheaton in lane 3, WPI in lane 4. And it's Wheaton in lane 5. WPI lane 6, Wheaton in lane 7, and WPI in lane 8. Swimmers ready to take their mark on the starting blocks off to my left. And they're underway. The final event of the night, the men's 400 free relay. Early start for WPI in lane 6. That Matt Crane kicking things off, but everybody's pretty much with each other. First leg for Wheaton in lane 5, Gavin Cullinan. And then WPI kicks it off in lane 4 with Andrew Vanderwater. Lead is definitely Matt Crane at the moment in lane 6 for WPI, but it's not by a ton. Gavin Cullinan right there alongside Crane as well. Now Cullinan has Crane even, and they turn it over to the second leg in lane 5 for Wheaton. It's Brian Hickson, Nikita Zuev in lane 4 for WPI. See what Hickson can do. He's a freestyle specialist, and two talented swimmers will follow him, and Anton Lopez and Ben Goho. This is making up to be a great finish. Lanes 5 and 6 battling here inside Balfour Natatorium. It's Hickson and Zuev going head to head. The second leg swimmers getting ready to turn it over to the third leg. It's going to be Anton Lopez for Wheaton and Lucas Prowl for WPI, and they'll go into the third leg just about neck and neck. Lopez taking the slight advantage. Now that man can absolutely cook in the swimming pool. Lopez has the lead out to about a full length over Prowl. Prowl trying to make up some ground. We'll see if he can catch up to Lopez. This is arguably the strongest leg of Wheaton's relay. We'll see what the anchor of Jack Dorea can do against Ben Goho coming up after this last turn. Lopez heads back towards the stretch here in the third leg, trailed by Prowl. Lopez airing it out, going to try to make it a little easier for Goho going up against Dorea. Lopez to the wall, Goho into the pool. He's got 100 to go to end the night. Dorea going to try to catch him in lane 4. Goho makes the turn back towards the far wall left side. Dorea still behind him by a healthy amount, but with some time to make it up. Dorea down by about 2 lengths behind Goho. Goho just has 25 to go here in the 400-yard freestyle relay. Goho trying to take his team home with a win here in event 32. Goho to the wall, and that's going to do it. The Lions in lane 5 take the win to end the night in the 400 free relay. Ben Goho, the senior out of Lincoln, Rhode Island, swims the anchor to seal that win in lane 5. Always an exciting finish to the relay here. The winning time in lane 5, 3:10.71. And then in lane 6 for the Engineers, it ends up being Aiden Greenfield taking them home at 3:13.85. And then the lane 4 team anchored by Jack Dorea, 3:19.78 to grab third. So that's going to do it here from Balfour Natatorium. Stay tuned, though. Don't go anywhere. Post-game and scores coming up next here from Norton.
Score of today's meet. For the men, WPI 174, Wheaton College 114. For the women, Wheaton College 198, WPI 93.
Final scores just announced here inside Balfour Natatorium. It was the WPI men coming away with a pretty comfortable win, and then the Wheaton College women improved to 8-2 on the dual meet season with a big-time win by more than 100 points here against WPI. Don't go anywhere, though. We got some post-meet interviews coming up here from Balfour Natatorium. post-meet here inside Balfour Natatorium after a big win for the Wheaton College women. The men fell to WPI. Joined here by Wheaton College diver Morgan Coughlin-Doyle. First off, Morgan, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You were just named NUMAC Women's Diver of the Week first. Take me through that feeling and just overall that accomplishment, because that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, it was cool. I got a PR last meet on 3 meter and then a new PR this meet on 3 meter, so I was really proud of both my performances. I was happy to be named NUMAC Diver of the Week.
That was an awesome accomplishment. Happy to see that. You just talked about your PRs. What's really been going right for you off both the 1 meter and 3 meter boards this season?
I think I've just been really focused on each individual dive and worrying about what to do for each dive and then moving on.
So what's something you can take? Maybe is there any improvements of your diving game going forward, maybe to take that into the rest of the season and NUMACs?
I think really just take my time and not to stress and just be calm and take it slow.
I'm excited to see that, Morgan. Great job. Congratulations, and thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll turn over here now to a member of the Wheaton College men's swimming team, Ben Goho. Ben, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You've been having a great season so far. Just before we talk about the team, take me through what's been going right for you so far this season.
I think our team has been pushed really hard in the water this year, and it's really great. The energy has improved tenfold, and everyone's just getting better simply because we're doing harder things, and it's so awesome just to see everyone improve because of it.
Yeah, you guys have been great to watch this year. I mean, I've talked about it before, just improvements every year, and that showed Saturday with the win against Babson.
Yeah.
First time you guys have taken out Babson, well before any of us were in school. It was all the way back in 2016. What was that feeling like, taking down a big conference rival?
That was great. I mean, as a senior, to be able to have that one last win, I think it was really important to the preceding seniors and every year before us. But just to have that was really awesome, and it, again, shows that hard work that we've really been putting in and that mentality of just digging deep for the team and having fun while you're doing it.
You guys have been great to watch. So fun, like you just said. You just anchored a big relay win there. What was going through your head there during that last 100?
How much pain I was in, but also I got to do this. I got to push forward. I did not expect to anchor, I think, coming here. And then I read my name as the anchor right before going up, so I didn't even know until that race. But once I read it, I was like, you know what? It's go time. Let's give it all we got and leave it all in the pool.
That was awesome to watch. Really excited to see
Thank
you
you
and the team take that win home there. Ben, thanks for joining me, one of the great swimmers in the Blackstone Valley.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining me, Ben. Have a good one. Final here from Balfour Natatorium, wrapping up the meet here against WPI and Wheaton. As always, for the NUMAC Sports Network and Wheaton College, I'm Jackson Walsh.